Things took a bit of a turn for the worse with my health for about a week and a half, but I'm better now. Hey, what's shaking bacon? Hope you're doing well. So I've been doing a squat challenge I want you to consider doing. It's interesting. This squat challenge is 10 squats every 45 minutes, an 8.5 hour window out of the day. So the beautiful thing about the squat challenge is it's supposed to be done in a way to lower your blood sugar more efficiently than a half-hour walk a day. Not everyone wants to or can fit in a half-hour walk a day, and this is something you can do. Now, I was doing this myself, and I'll get into that more in another video. I haven't been able to do it in almost 2 weeks. So for the first part of August, I've been pooched, but I'm going to be starting it again as of tomorrow. So I haven't been making my videos for the last week. I took a bit of a turn for the worst with my health. It had nothing to do with my heart surgery, so all that's good. But it seemed like I passed a kidney stone. Now, we haven't been able to find that kidney stone. I went to the hospital and they did a CT scan and they couldn't find it, but I had blood in my urine. So something was going on there. But I had intense pain that came along with it. Took an ambulance to the hospital because in Ontario, ambulances can give you the anti-inflammatory if you're passing a kidney stone, as well as morphine. Now, to be honest, this was self-inflicted because I haven't been taking my medication for about a month for the allopurinol. So I still have high uric acid in my body, but I don't get gout attacks anymore. It's really nice. But the problem is that uric acid still has to flush. All those uric acid crystals that have been building up for decades in my body still need to flush out, and it's a kidney problem. So I usually take a allopurinol, and that just usually keeps things working good, so everything dissolves, and I don't get a buildup in my kidneys. But because I went about a month without it, and I was losing a little bit of weight, what happened was it just was the recipe for disaster, and I started passing a kidney stone. But what happened afterwards was really weird. So I was in a lot of pain, and I couldn't lie down. I could sit down. And while I was sitting, I was okay, but I couldn't breathe properly. The pain in my back was so bad, it was preventing me from breathing. So the doctor said it could just be a spasm muscle, and that's the pain you've been feeling. And I was like, look, I know it's not a spasm muscle. And he was like, well, how do you know? I said, well, I'm a massage therapist. I've been doing this for 25 years. I've had lots of different musculoskeletal pains through the years, and this isn't that. This was a very pinpointed pain right outside of my kidneys in my back, and it was pretty extreme. I honestly barely worked for that time, so I just had gotten back to work after my open heart surgery and everything recovered fine, and then boom, I took another week off work. Now, I didn't fully take the week off work. I did like a massage here, a massage there. You know, Papa's got bills, right? So I still managed to do some work just to make sure I was getting by, because canceling these pre-booked appointments is a real pain in the butt for everyone involved, the receptionists, the clients, as well as the therapists. I would have to ask to try and take on these clients. So there's a bit of responsibility there. But what I did do was I prevented people from rebooking through the week. But back to that pain, I was in emergency for 12 hours because that's the way the healthcare system works in Canada, in Ontario specifically. It's pretty bad. And while I was there, they made me wait out in the emergency. So I got taken in by ambulance, went right to the back through the ER. And after a while, they said, look, you got to go because the ambulance attendants have to go and they have to stay with you until you get a bed. So you have to go back out into the ER. And I said, nope. And they said, why not? And I said, while I'm back here, you guys can give me my meds, correct? But when I go out to the ER, into the normal waiting room, I can't get meds. So the problem there is right now, if I stay here, in a few hours, I'm going to need meds again. And the pain's excruciating. That's why I took an ambulance to begin with. But this kidney stone felt like it wasn't going anywhere. Normally I feel the pain shift around my body, around my torso, as the kidney stone is moving, and this wasn't going anywhere. And the last time I had it like that, it's because it was too large to pass. So pass from the kidney to the bladder, that is. I've never passed an actual stone. I've only ever passed sand. So eventually they said, okay, we can let you go out to the emergency and we can give you the Toradol, but we can't give you the morphine out there. And I was like, no, like, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I have to advocate for myself. I'm in extreme pain. The medication lets me be at a level of only extreme pain. Intolerable pain is where I go to the point where people who have migraines, I think, can really appreciate that, where you're in this level of pain and the world has to stop around you because the pain is so extreme. And you have to like breathe like you're in Lamaze and you're just barely getting by. And that's when it's like a really bad kidney stone that's not passing through. Even if it is passing, that's what it feels like. And so I got them to admit, they'd say, okay, You can go out. We'll make sure we get you your meds. Are you good with that? And I was like, I'm absolutely fine with that. I just want to make sure I can still get my meds while I'm waiting, because I could be waiting for a long time because you guys are so backed up here. So they made sure to give them to me. I had to fight for it. Each time I went back to the counter after 4 hours, they said, no, you're not allowed to have these meds after 4 hours. You have to wait 6 hours. And I said, no, I've always had them every 4 hours. And the people back there, when I was back there, said I could get it whenever the pain came back. And typically this pain comes back about 2.5 hours after I get the meds. So I waited as long as I could up to the 4-hour window, and I'm here to get my meds. And they're like, no, sorry. And I was like, look, I'm just going to go home then. And I'm sorry to act like a spoiled brat here, but I'm just going home because I still have leftover pain meds from my open heart surgery. I could be at home pain-free. Why would I wait here? So they said, okay, we'll check with the doctor. It's like, why didn't you open with that? Why didn't you just try and do that? So the doctor said, yeah, he can get his meds every 4 hours. So what was the battle like that for? So either way, I went out, I got my meds after 4 hours, and I went back after 5 hours. I waited 5 hours this time, try and meet them in the middle. And they said, no, we're not going to give you your meds yet. I was like, well, look, we already went through this. The one nurse came up to me and said, look, if you're in that much pain that you need your meds every 4 hours, then I'm going to get you in next. And I was like, thank you. I really appreciate that. She said, we have a new doctor starting at 6 a.m. And by that point, I was there for 11 hours. And she said, yeah, we can get you in. And he's really fast. He's known for just plowing through patients. And this was one of those straightforward cases. Like, I really just needed a CT scan in case it wasn't going to pass on its own. And at that point, if I was going to have to be admitted to have any procedures done, then I would know. But if it was something I could pass on my own, then I knew I could do that. But either way, that's the experience I went through. So I got this ER doctor, and right away I went in the back. They gave me the morphine while I was back there, and I was like, thank you. And that helped a lot with the pain. And then they said, okay, we'll get you a CT scan. Within 20 minutes, I had a CT scan. And then within another 20 minutes or 30 minutes, I had the results. And they came over and said, yeah, you must have already passed it. I said, look, I know it was a kidney stone because I know it's not muscular. And also I had blood in the urine, and it was brown blood also. So it was old blood. So either way, that seemed to pass, but I still had the pain. It was more manageable. Often takes about a day for that to go away. And though that went away, I think at one point my muscles did spasm. And by this point, it started to become a muscular pain. And the whole time it was preventing me from breathing deep. And this was more of the issue than anything. So I had this really locked up pain in my back from passing the kidney stone. I think just all the sitting I did, and I didn't get any sleep that night. And I think what happened was I just strained my back at that point. And at this point, it started to feel like a muscle strain. So as the pain from the kidney stone was going away, this was getting worse and worse. And it was a different pain. That's how I know it was muscular. And it took a while for that to go away because it was preventing me from breathing. I couldn't breathe deep. And I knew what area of muscles needed work. I just couldn't reach them. But I have a TheraStick, and it's like a big candy cane, plastic candy cane. And I was able to kind of work those muscles a little bit, took the edge off, but it was pretty bad for the week. I could barely breathe. Just walking up a flight of stairs would wind me for 20 minutes. Literally standing and getting into bed, I'd sometimes stand there for like 5 minutes thinking, oh, this is not going to go well. Because all I had to do was lie down, and lying down just adjusted the pressure on the ribs enough that it was making it even harder to breathe and catch my breath afterwards. And I'd lie in bed for the first 10 to 15 minutes just trying to catch my breath. I was taking a lot of potassium and magnesium through this window of time to try and manage those muscle spasms. Overall, I think it made a marginal difference. I got better and better each day. I had to get a couple massages, and that made a dramatic difference. The only thing I have left that I had through that was this sort of spasming. I don't know if it was my diaphragm or one of my core muscles. It makes me short of breath when I exhale too much, and I start coughing at the end of that. So I don't have fever. I don't have any other issues, but I still have this lingering cough. But it's not because I feel like I need to cough and expel anything out of my chest. It's literally a muscular spasm, and I stopped it because I was massaging my abs one night, and I was having a difficult time breathing while I was massaging my abs at the point where they're attaching into my ribs, and I was really working really deep and stretching those muscles. That breathing problem went away. It went away completely. After the one massage, that breathing problem went away. So I know it's a muscular problem. It was just a symptom of all these muscles that had gone into spasm, guarding around that kidney stone. Couldn't do my squats through all that. It was pretty painful to an extreme, actually. Everything seems back to normal now. I'm probably about 90% better. The only thing I have left is that little bit of breathing issue. But overall, I'm doing much better, and it's going to be going back on track. Of course, I never stopped carnivore through that. If anything, I got a little bit of fasting in there. And yeah, so everything's going well. So thanks a lot. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Just wanted to give you guys an update because I was not making videos for a week. Really just Friday and Mondays is when I released my videos. Anyway, thanks a lot for listening. Take care.